and welcome. We are Matt and Betsy, and this is On the Move. We're on an adventure to pick up our life from Ontario and move out to Prince Edward Island. So far, that's the plan, and so far, so good. Right? So I kind of feel like this week, or these last 2 weeks, have been a lot, but nothing at the same time, because we've been stuck here at home.
Yeah. Well, we should probably tell them that since our last recording, Ontario has gone back into lockdown again because of another wave of COVID-19. And when I say lockdown, like no schools, the kids are all back home.
Well, we're doing school, but
online. No schools are open.
That means I'm online too for school.
We'll talk a bit more about that later. So a lot has changed, but it's a lot of nothing.
Yeah, we're just doing life at home, going for walks around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a few things that I think of that happened in the last couple of weeks. One is these right here. We are wearing these nice sweaters. There's a story that goes behind it. Should we tell that first?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Like, in the summers, Betsy's family likes to get together, and fortunately last year, with restrictions, we were able to do that, and we're hoping to again this year.
So.
And because we're going out east, and we know that our occasions that we'll be able to get together will be less frequent, we thought, well, this summer we should do a lot of those events and make them big and make them memorable. And so this was one of the ways we were going to do that, right? So we have these sweaters, and the front of them are plain, but at Christmas time, we gave Betsy's family all sweaters, and on the back of them, they had unique designs for them. Actually, our eldest daughter designed the pictures that go on them. So we got them, and then we said, well, we enjoyed it, we had fun with it. We thought, let's show off and do it ourselves too. So this summer, when we get together, we hope that all of us, here's mine too, hopefully you can see that. We hope that all of us will be able to get together and wear these, and it'll be something memorable for us and for the kids as well. So those arrived the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So my drawing, if you didn't see it all that clearly, is me making coffee, because it's part of my daily ritual that I do to have my coffee every day. And my youngest daughter designed me a lovely mug for my birthday to go along with that. So the pink on the mug, the pink on my sweater. My girls know that I like to be all pink. So this is a ode to my dogs. It's a dog mom mug. And my beautiful hoodie.
And mine is, I'm playing the piano. I play the piano. So that's me sitting with my back to the piano.
Yeah, so she designed each one with that person's sort of what she thought of when she thinks of that person and what kind of goes with them. And she wanted to just highlight something from their life that they enjoy and love. So she did a great job of it.
Yeah. It was fun. And the other thing from this past 2 weeks is that same eldest daughter, it was actually her birthday.
That's right.
Big birthday. I mean, I feel for anyone who's had a birthday in March or April in Ontario in the last 2 years, because it means you've been stuck in this lockdown COVID-19 situation for both your birthdays. And so for our daughter, we were really feeling that because it was her 13th.
Well, we had promised her a 12th birthday party.
True.
And that didn't happen. And then she hit the big teenage 13.
Yeah,
and
we were a
that
teenager.
Also, it's okay. She's a good kid, though. That also didn't happen for a birthday party.
Yeah, and so the one big gift that we gave her this year actually has a long backstory to it. When we first started talking about moving away, just because we were talking about the idea of not being here forever, and this is, our girls have known this and one other home in London their whole lives, and so we're talking about making a move and just floating that idea. It was like more than a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And our eldest daughter came out and said, well, she said the only way she was going to move is if we got her a phone.
And so I was like, well, that's not that hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, that to her is a big deal because we don't, in our family, we're pretty cautious with technology of that sort, especially with our kids. And so they don't have phones, haven't up until now. And so, well, making this move, we're like, all right, we have to make good on this.
Yeah.
And get her a phone. So we decided this, because of this whole 13th birthday, didn't get to have party the last 2 years. We thought we'd make that a big thing for her. And it also gives her a chance to make some solid connections on her phone and things so she can communicate with people she wants to back and forth before we actually make the move. At least that's what we're justifying to ourselves with this. For it. So she was very
excited, and she's doing very well so far. So she communicates most with a couple of school friends and her grandparents. So that's fine.
And we wouldn't be Canadian if we didn't talk about the weather right now. That it's for April, at least in this part of Ontario, it has been unseasonably warm.
With one burst of snow last week.
But that was very short-lived here. Like, the trees outside are budding in ways that I can't remember at this time of year for a very long time. We're going to have leaves very shortly at this point. So, and then for me, it's this time of year, well, a little bit later, usually in May, it's always a struggle for me. I start my war on dandelions because I have some fairly significant environmental allergies, and that's one of the things that kicks it up for me. So I go out in the yard and I pick dandelions quite a bit out there. And this year I was thinking, oh, should I do that? Do I have to do that? We're not going to be in this house. But I think we want to be good stewards of it until we leave. And the idea of it being in good condition when we leave, and it's not going to be till the end of June, so we'll be basically in summer.
We're home all the time now, and we find ourselves, we need to make excuses to go outside. We need to find things that push us to go out, to keep us somewhat active. So the whole household has a required dog walk once a day, no arguments from anyone, right from 3 to 13, or us as well. We all go together. We get a lot of negative feedback from it, but they go. Once they're out there, they're fine.
Always pushing. Yeah, they like it. They like it when they're
once they're out there. And so it's good. Dog pack mentality. When you walk together, you end up having fun and connecting in a different way. So we do that every day. And Matthew's out in the yard, and the little ones are constantly asking to go in and out. I've considered just propping the door open. If I didn't have dogs, I would, since the littlest one can't actually unlatch the door. So I'll just hear a rattling and Betty, then I know she's ready to come in. So
and that kind of leads into our highs and lows for the last 2 weeks. So what for you?
So the low for me is during the day was often my downtime. I just had one child who was home with me recently. The others would go to school. And so it would give me just some quiet hours through the day to get housework done and to focus a little bit on my crafting and my textile arts. But now that everyone's home, that just doesn't happen as much. So I tried to start a sweater that I was super excited about knitting with a really cute pattern. And I think I started it 2 times for sure, that I completely ripped it out because...
Maybe three.
So many, there's always questions. Someone is always talking to me. Always. I joke that my name has been wore out, and it definitely has. So just tending to those constant needs, trying to keep 3 kids on task with their schoolwork and online. Our girls have been fantastic. They really do take a lot of just responsibility to make sure they're getting their work done. So that's great. Each child has a designated space where they do their work. So they all have their piece of technology that they're working on. So there's one in the basement, one in the back room, one in the kitchen. And then Matthew, of course, is also teaching. So he has a space as well that he teaches from. So it's just the poor little 3-year-old who wanders around for a couple of hours a day. And I have to say, you have to be quiet. Everyone's in a meeting. But she's pretty good about it. So just coping with everyone at home all the time. The laundry is increased. The dishes are. Anyone who's doing this knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm trying not to complain about it, but it just definitely makes things just more exhausting. I'll say to Matthew every night, I'm tired again. Why am I so tired? We didn't do anything. But at the same time, we are living a very busy schedule.
For me, it's similar, but not quite maybe in the same way. It's been fighting back the feeling of wanting to rush, and that kind of what we talked about last week of we're in this waiting period now, and that we're actively looking for homes as best we can right now, and just wanting to jump on things and worrying that it's all disappearing on us. And I think that's just folly, being in that state of worry about, these home prices are getting higher, or the ones that we want are disappearing. There won't be anything else. I think I know it's pretty useless, but I find myself getting caught up in that occasionally.
Yeah, me too, definitely. We want to be faithful and patient about waiting it out and making sure that it's the right timing in the right place, and not just sort of panic purchasing. And that does feel a little harder, especially when restrictions got tighter, when we were hoping to be able to make a short trip out there to maybe do some house hunting, and it doesn't look like that's going to be possible. So just running up against some additional challenges than what we maybe thought we'd be able to avoid. But also we're kind of in the back of our mind, for me anyway. So just that bit of, I find myself sometimes with anxiety up and down, and just even that little bit of unidentified anxiety where I'll say to Matthew, I'm feeling anxious and I'm not sure why, but I think it's just everything and nothing being what I kind of want it to be. And I said a few times, I think it's just, I'm not living my optimal life, and I'm not parenting in my optimal way. But yet I think we are making the best of the situation.
And it's a struggle because I know that we need to live in the present and enjoy today and what we have, and appreciate the good things that we have, because there's lots of good things that we have. But then there are moments too where you find yourself thinking ahead. And this, I appreciated this post that I saw today and enjoyed it, not to knock it at all, but a friend of ours who lives out east talked about the joy of water and being by the ocean, and showed her kids playing out in where the tide had gone out. And for a brief moment, I find myself looking forward to that, and being that moment when I can be at the ocean myself again.
If we can just be there.
I know, but that's I know that will come, or I'm trusting that will come.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't be worrying about that right now.
We're really trying to continue to live in today and not miss what's right in front of us. So sorry, my words are tonight. What's right in front of us. Yeah. So the beautiful crescent we have on our street, I'm looking at it right now. It's a fantastic blessing. The kids can bike out there. They can play out there. I talked about a 3-year-old being out there. That is something I can do. I can have her be on my front lawn. I have these amazing, huge front windows that I can see everything that's going on out there. So talk about all the amazing blessings of this house that we just sold. But yeah, so it serves its purpose for now really well. And we know we're headed to the next stage, but we don't want to push to get there too fast, because we are still in this current stage. We know it's coming to a close, but it's not there yet. And we want to finish well, especially for all of the little people in our life too, because it really affects them, how we're feeling and doing.
Oh yeah, so, they play off that, pick up on that. Yeah, for sure. What about high?
We're going to talk about
it. So
okay.
Well, is it for both of us then?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the high is, over the last little while, we said last week, though, with the what next, that the next step is to get a job. Well, I got a job.
Yay!
It's not a contract full-time job, but I interviewed with a lovely lady who's going back to be a principal this coming year in PEI, and that was for the substitute list.
We'll take it.
I've gotten the go-ahead that I now need to submit the employee paperwork stuff, and I can be a substitute teacher in PEI. So that's a job.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll still keep looking if there is a contract position that comes up, but if nothing else, I'm flying high, because I know when I put my feet on the ground in September, I can work.
Go to work.
I can go to work. So that's
good. That does bring a certain amount of peace. And just, there's a couple other things this week we did that we just were able to say, okay, that's one more little thing off the list. Just things like calling the water heater company to let them know the date we're done.
Yeah, that was exciting for you, not for me.
And the insurance company, and just those little steps that are all little things that will have to be done. And we were close enough that we could do those and submit those dates. So just little bits and pieces here and there. Yeah.
All right, so what's next?
Well, we want to buy a house.
Yeah. I think we're finally at the stage where like, okay, we're really like, I've got the job. We've done some of those other details. Let's really look forward to getting a house.
Yeah. So we do have a lovely real estate agent that we've been set up with from our real estate agent here that I've been talking a little bit with, but we haven't kind of been seriously searching at this point. So we want to start that. And when we initially started this whole process, people talked to us about a digital home purchase. So not actually seeing the home in person, and you have your real estate agent go for you and go around with the little camera and show you everything. And both of us were kind of like, no way.
Yeah, I've consistently said to a whole bunch of people, we don't
buy a house
don't
sight
want to do that.
unseen. But I think as we've come through this process, we've been softened to the idea of opening up to that. And
not that we have to. Like, we could still, there are ways we could make it work, that we could go and do it in person probably in July, and it would still work out for us. But there are downsides to that. Some of them, like, it would cost us more money in a variety of ways to do it that way.
And I think for myself, what I've really realized is, for me, a lot of it comes down to trust. So this will help me to practice my trust that the real estate agent will be honest and open with what she finds and what she sees, and I have no reason to think she wouldn't, and to trust that it will work out. And we said before, we're people of faith, and so sometimes I'm a bit of a control freak, so maybe stepping back from some of that, like, I have to see it and touch it and smell it and feel it to know it's real. So I think it will stretch me in that way, and I think I'm open to that growth and that potential.
And it would be nice if that house comes along and we're able to do it that way, that we can just go from here to there rather than having this in between time. There's lots of, I keep thinking about I go through all the practical things. That's the way I work. I'm a very practical oriented person, and so I think of all the practical challenges that will come if we're in transition and we don't have a home in between. Not that we've actually done that.
Done it before.
But
at least in the same city.
Yes, so, and so we know we can do that, but it would be easier if we didn't have to.
And so being willing to even entertain that idea will help on that.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We're almost literally today, I had our agent go out and look at something, and then we did some really fine-tooth combing and research on something, and we backed out of that one. Yeah. So I guess we weren't quite ready yet today to do it to digital.
But there just wasn't, didn't feel right then once we got down to it. Yeah.
So that we'll see what happens.
See how that goes. Yeah.
So thank you for continuing, or if you're the first time today along with us, join us on this adventure, and hopefully we'll see you again in 2 weeks with some more exciting news.
Bye.